Welcome to your Daily Revolution podcast. Today's topic: what drives a man when he has it all? Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Let's go! This is your Daily Revolution. Live in prosperity, we show you how to do it. There's no luck about it, we got the strategic blueprint.
Great to have you here, guys. I'm so excited for the podcast today. A beautiful Monday morning here in Destin, Florida. The weather is already blistering hot. And just a lot of good things going on in life. So let's dive into the podcast. Before I do, thank you for listening. Thank you for letting me be a part of your world. Thank you for being in my world. I really appreciate you listening. If it makes a difference, do me a huge favor. Take a screenshot, tag me, throw me on your stories, and or share the podcast with someone who needs to hear it. All right, let's dive into it. So, how do you drive a man? How does a man get motivated when he has it all? And having it all, it does not mean you're a billionaire or you have to be a multimillionaire. Sometimes, right, life is pretty dang good. You've got money, you have first world problems, you're not hurting and you're not in pain. It's like, yeah, could you use a little more money? Sure. Could you lose a few more pounds? Sure. Do you need to go clean out your garage? Sure. But I'm talking to people who life is really good. And that might be a lot of you. And if that's not where you're at yet, then you've got some work to do to continue to level up. So how does a man stay motivated, or a woman? Now, let's just take a step back. Understand there's these three different phases or states of being or perspectives. First one is scarcity, where you're in lack and fear and doubt drive the game. Scarcity is not a great place to be, but it can be a good place because it can motivate one to get up and move. Scarcity is where people are barely getting it, or they're in constant fear and panic. And they're just living this life where there's no faith and no belief and no assurance. It's just fear, fear, fear. I don't have enough. We're going to run out of money. And it's constant panic and chaos. The other perspective is what we call abundance. So you go from scarcity and you get into this abundant mentality. It's a phrase that I heard back in 1995 when I read a book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. And this mentality of abundance, meaning that there's more than enough. And when you really figure out that there is more than enough, there's more than enough resources, there's more than enough money, there's more than enough time, you can have as much as you want. You simply cannot do it all. This abundant mentality is an amazing place to be because it puts you in the space where you've got enough for you and your family. You're taking care of the necessities. And now you have some options and choices to go do more. And the highest level in our world is what we call prosperity. That's what this podcast is about. A revolution of prosperity, a mindset, a shift in the way you see the world and the way you see your role in the world. Now, how do you drive yourself? It's easy. When you're in scarcity, it's dude, you don't have a lot, got to go to work and you grind. And I see people do this all the time. Backs against the wall, money's running low, marriage is on the rocks. They're not as happy. And so they get up, they get motivated, they get inspired, and they go do the work. And they go do whatever's required. And they get into a place of abundance. They lose some weight, they make some money. Oh, okay. But then this funny thing happens. Most people take their foot off the gas pedal. Most people kind of sabotage. Most people stop doing what's required, and then they go back into scarcity. And then from scarcity, their back's against the wall. They got to go lose weight. They got to go make money. They got to level up. So then they get motivated and they climb out and they're back in abundance. And then after a time, they forget and they get sloppy and slothful, and then they're back in scarcity. This is what we call the scarcity abundance cycle. Scarcity to abundance. Life is good. Sabotage. Don't do the work. Back in scarcity. Life is not good. Now, there are people then who avoid that cycle by getting up into abundance, and they don't sabotage, and they don't burn things to the ground, but they don't continue to level up. And I've seen this happen too often with business owners and entrepreneurs, people who make really good money. When I say good money, again, that's a relative thing, right? Where you're making multiple 6 figures a year. Or maybe you're even in the 7 figures a year, and life is really good. You got the cars and the vacations, and you can buy whatever you want, and you write checks to charities and to your church, and you donate and you give. Totally get it. So how does one get more motivated to work? What drives people? And I want to help you understand something. This is why I'm shooting this podcast today. It's easy to stay stuck in what I call average abundance. You're in abundance. You're making good money. Like you work out, you're checking the boxes, you're worshiping or meditating, you're going to church. Like you're kind of doing everything you're supposed to do. So how do you get more motivated? How do you get more driven, more inspired? And I can tell you right now, it's not going to be the external stuff. And it's not going to be that. Rarely is it going to be like, let me go get another car. Let me go buy another house. Let me go buy another jet. Let me go, like, it's not going to be those things. For some of you, it might, but I'd have you consider that it's going to require you to look deep in your soul to find the internal or intrinsic, maybe motivation is not even the right word, purpose. Like purpose. And for me, it's really simple. When I start to feel myself getting complacent in this place of average abundance, all I have to do is take a look at my beautiful wife and my brilliant sons. I look at them and I'm like, look, I've got a wife and 3 boys who I have stewardship over and leadership over and responsibility to. I look at my business partners and their families. I look at my team and their families. I look at the clients we serve and their families and their employees and their organizations. And you know what? That just eviscerates any type of complacency that I might have to, I can relax. See, the truth is I don't want to relax. But if I don't find that drive and that purpose and the thing that's going to get me to get fired up and to move and to be, it's easy to just go into complacency. Problem with being comfortable and getting complacent is you get comfortable when you're in abundance. By and by, being comfortable puts you into a place of complacency where you're like, life's pretty good. And when you're in complacency, you begin what's called the crash, where you just start to take your foot off the gas pedal, and a crash always leads to a crisis. And then in crisis, we're in scarcity. Listen, I'm telling you right now, what if you just took a look around you? Look at your spouse. Look at your children. What do you really want for them? Do you really want things to get to a state where you're in scarcity? Do you really have to go through like fire and hell to wake up? Do you really have to gain all the weight back? Do you really have to let the bank accounts get depleted? Do you have to wait until there's a crisis before you do something? I'm telling you, no. Find a greater purpose. Develop the mission. Live a purpose and or mission-driven life where you're not just about you and your immediate needs. Now you're looking to, how do I help my spouse and my children? How do I help my team and their children? It's amazing how much more we will do for other people and how much more driven we are to go provide. Look, I want my entire team. I want all my team making great life-changing money. I want them to grow in their skills. It's the same thing for my son, same thing for my wife. So I'd have you just take a look at, do you have a selfish view of like, I'm good? Or can you start to think in terms of, how do I create more value for other people? How do I create value for my spouse? How can I create greater value for my team and my employees or the people that I work with and or work for? Even if you have a job right now, you might start to say, how can I bring more value to the organization that I'm a part of? And I love it. Like, just do more than what you're asked to do. Be the person that does more. It was crazy yesterday. We get home. My sons, of course, they get out of the truck. They take stuff to the trash, and I get out of the truck after them. And there's like a pile of trash and cookie wrappers and things that they just kind of sloppily left. Now, most times I'm going to have my sons come and get it. And then I'm like, look, let me just pick it up. And I pick up trash wherever I go. I put carts back in the shopping cart wherever I go. I strive to create more value than I consume in the world. What drives Setema right now is to create a greater life for my family, to make my parents proud, to support my parents, to help my nieces and nephews who maybe don't have as much opportunity. I am that uncle who loves to, I'm like, oh, my niece needs a pair of shoes? Okay, just send me the link, baby. My nephew needs some cleats? Hey, bud, send me the link and I'll just buy you a pair. I can't tell you how many pairs of shoes I've bought. I've bought easily a couple dozen over the last 2 years, just nieces and nephews, my sons. family members. Why? Because I love to create value for people. What drives me is way more than just being comfortable. It's contribution. It's giving back. And people throw the word around legacy all the time. I'm a legacy. I'm a legacy. Listen, you can't leave a legacy if you're average or mediocre. That's the legacy you leave. And I'm challenging those of you listening to the podcast, get out of the mindset that I have enough. That whole mindset of when is enough and enough is enough. I don't buy into that. God didn't put me on this planet. Just, I'm good. I've got enough. I'm good. I can relax. Now, I want to serve and wear my life out in the service of others. I want to really impact the people that I get around, help them to see and feel and experience a different life and a different lifestyle, to make life-changing money, to experience joy and depth of joy. So, what's your purpose? Who are you striving to serve? What are you trying to create for your life that would get you out of being complacent and comfortable and complacent, which leads into a crash, which leads to a crisis? Here's my words for you on this. Instead of choosing to cruise, choose to create. Instead of cruise, choose to create, choose to get clear, choose to level up, choose greatness, and it's your choice. Well, friends, if this has been helpful, go ahead and leave me a review. I appreciate listening. Share this on, and until next time, this is your boy, Setema Gali. I'm out.
Let's go! This is your daily revolution. Living prosperity, we show you how to do it. There's no luck about it, we got the strategic blueprint. This is your daily revolution. You already know. And if you don't, then check my resume. Turning pressure into possibilities every day. Y'all can win and live our unique purpose. We change our mindsets and put the work in. This is your daily revolution. Daily revolution. Revolution. Your daily revolution podcast.